Prior to working as an investor, Mr. Nogales served as president of a small network, Univision, and as chairman and CEO of United Press International in Washington, D.C. Amongst various nonprofits and government institutions he served on, he's been the chairman of the board on left. He's been appointed by two separate presidents to two different commissions, by President Clinton and President Jimmy Carter, to the White House Commission of Steady Capital Budgeting, as well as the Inter-American Foundation. He's also been on the boards of the Stanford University, the Ford Foundation, I know we like soccer in this room, and also on the U.S. World Cup Soccer Committee. Mr. Nogales received his bachelor's from San Diego State University and has his law degree from Stanford University. Please join me in honoring a great man, Luis Nogales. Congratulations.
Muchísimas gracias. Gracias a todos por venir. Especialmente gracias a los líderes hispanos de este Capitolio. Don't worry, the rest is in English. But I do advise bilingual lessons. Sacramento today. Many times before, I was here. My family was here. My family's from here, including my worked in all the different agricultural valleys in California, including San Joaquin Valley, as farmer. I came after or during the Mexican Revolution. And this state and this country has always had immigrants for reasons, political reasons, violence, and for economic development. We will always be a country by immigrants, reinforced as a country from the freshness, the vigor, the optimism that immigrants bring to this country. I'm honored to be a part of this honorary group. We have a Nobel laureate who is a great humanist, someone who fights for human rights. We have a great labor leader who indeed changed this country, Luis Huerta. We have a great educator in our midst. And we have a person who started as a gardener, formed a foundation to help the children of other gardens. And we also have Jeff Reese, a businessman, who is also involved in tremendous public service. And I think that that is the roadmap for our community, that people from diverse roles have to work together to create a better community. I am proud to be a part of that group. Thank you very much.
We can keep the noise down. We're almost done. I know we all want to get the party and actually get it going, so I'm ready for that too. Just give us a second. Give us that. We'll have a break in a minute. All right. I would like to bring up our next speaker. It'll be again a Senate member, Joe Cotto, who will make the next introduction.
And I also have a second very significant honor this evening and a big pleasure to introduce to you Dolores Huerta. It is obvious that I don't have to say very much in introduction of Dolores Huerta, but let me go follow my chairman's lead here, all right? She's one of the most influential advocates for farm worker rights of our time. Let me just spell out a few of her very significant accomplishments. Dolores Huerta is a community organizer a political activist and co-founder of the United Farm Workers Union. She is president of the Dolores Huerta Foundation, which has as its mission to inspire and motivate people to organize sustainable communities to attain social justice. Huerta was instrumental in pushing historic legislation that brought disability insurance to farm workers, voting ballots in Spanish, and the legalization of for 1 million farm workers under the Immigration Reform Act of 1984 and 85. In recognition of her achievements, she received an honorary degree from Princeton University in 2006. Over the years, Dolores Huerta has been a major driving force behind the United Farm Worker movement and has brought major changes such as civic participation and economic resources for disadvantaged communities. She wanted me to remind you that in all of those struggles, she has also wound up in jail or being jailed 20 times. Should also know that she has been a member of the UC Board of Regents. And when we think of Dolores Huerta, it's important to remember that she's the one that coined the phrase, "Sí se puede." Vamos, sí se puede con Dolores Huerta.
All of the Latino caucus and we're giving it this honor. And someone said, how come now? Most people are always bugging people if you're right. But, when I first came here to lobby in Sacramento, I was only 25 years old. And in that time, there were no Latinos in the legislature. There were no women in the legislature, It was all, what kind of people were here, right? And then of course we had a few people that came in. I had Peter Chacon, Bill Soto, Alex Garcia, and then little by little we started to get more. But I do want to let you know, and I'm glad that Mark Leno is here and some of our other legislators that are also Latino per se, but that they do have Latino corazones, no? They have Latino hearts. Those people that I was really fortunate to meet here, right here in this assembly, people that went on to Congress, but people that really have some of the major legislation. When we talked about these bills that we passed, it was actually carried by people that really had it by great heart, because we didn't have the numbers of Latinos then that we do now. But one of them, of course, was the great Phil Burton, who passed away, one of the greatest legislators, congressperson, and he is the one that pushed the law to take away the requirements of being a citizen to get public assistance. In other words, if you were a legal resident of this country, you could then get an old age pension, aid to disability, later on, aid to needy children. That was the great Philip Burton. And then, of course, we also had, who is still with us, Howard Berman, who right here in this legislature passed the law that gave farm workers the right to organize, the Agricultural Labor Relations Act, and then was the author of giving those 1,400,000 farm workers legalization in the Congress. There were other great people here that I was able to lobby, one time or the other. People like George Miller, Nancy Pelosi. So you can see that this legislature here is a great breeding ground for people that are going to be great when they get to the U.S. Congress. But the one thing I want to say is that we know that, one thing I just want to remind everybody is that, we really have to work for working people. The majority of Latinos, the majority of people in our state, in our country, are people that work for their lives with their hands, Can't think about how manos. So we want to make sure that all of you always remember that. So that when you're in there in your offices, that, you should not have to be lobbying on any kind of a bill that is going to help a working person, a consumer, anything that has to do with health care or with women's rights.